All right, so I guess I'm ready. Welcome to the first episode of Blunt Talk with FrndZone. I, of course, am FrndZone. Um, I'm actually going to be doing this little web-isode podcast type thing with a friend of mine, YugoFlii. We're just having some scheduling issues right now, I guess. So until then, I really just wanted to go ahead and jump on into this topic, surviving R. Kelly. It is a doozy. There's a whole lot to be talked about. There's this whole mini-series, of course, that's on Lifetime that talks about some of the alleged sexual abuse that he has gone through, that he's put other people through, this whole sex ring that he's a part of, the allegations of him being married to Aaliyah, and possibly having sex with her at an early age. So yeah, I just wanted to jump into this now while I have a chance. Of course, I got my Arctic Chill. Okay, contains about 200 milliliters of vodka, a little bit of ice, and the rest is some Sprite. It is Blunt Talk. That's the name of the podcast webisode thing that I'm doing. I'm not even sure what it is yet. I'm just talking to y'all. And talking some shit. But there will be blunts involved. All right. So I guess when it comes to the whole surviving R. Kelly thing, first and foremost, I have to apologize for my part in the whole thing. I think I was in high school. I was probably about 14, 15 years old. R. Kelly was huge at the time, of course in the black community and really all over the world, in all communities. He had really crossed over big with the whole I Believe I Can Fly thing. That was huge. And then the sex tape came out. And it's so bizarre when we're looking at it now. It's really, really bizarre. But it's almost like we just kind of swept it under the rug and just kept it moving. I think he came out with a few more hit albums after that. I think Chocolate Factory may have been after the scandal, and a few other ones that were pretty big. It's so bizarre that we all saw this tape and we knew what it was. We comprehended what was happening. But for some reason, we didn't make the connection that this man was hurting people. This man was doing things that were scarring people psychologically, emotionally, maybe even physically. We just cheered along with his music. I think after that there were a couple of songs that came out, that I liked, that I may have two-stepped to here and there. It's just really, really crazy that a whole community of people and what seemed like the world at large kind of just got over it and just kept moving and kept celebrating and praising this man for his musical prowess. Now, I get it. He is a genius. This is for sure. He is, a musical genius. And, at a certain point, though, that shouldn't even be a factor when it comes to some of the things that he's accused of doing. So, yeah, watching this documentary, Surviving R. Kelly, so honestly, I only watched the first 2 episodes. They're really long, and I wasn't expecting it to be such a long series. I expected it to be like maybe 3 episodes altogether. I think there's like 7, maybe 8 episodes altogether. I'm not even sure. And yeah, so I haven't sat through the whole thing yet. None of this is new. None of this is news or anything. It's not like any of us need to sit through this whole docuseries to digest and comprehend what kind of monster this person is. We've all seen the headlines. We've all seen the tape. Okay, we've all seen the tape. Um, so none of us really need to sit through this whole docu-series to really uh, understand and comprehend what kind of person that we're dealing with. Although it does help shed a whole new light on it, when you hear from these certain individuals that have dealt with R. Kelly so closely. Um, in that docu series, there's, I don't know, things that you just don't want to hear. But you can't really turn a blind eye to it, or I guess you're kind of part of the problem. Like I was part of the problem, and a lot of people, in the community were a part of the problem. We continued to listen to his music. We turned a blind eye to what was obviously a very criminal sexual act that was being committed um, because of one reason or another. Um, Excuse my dreads; they're not even done yet. Like this whole side isn't done yet. I've been really lazy about it. I mean, I like them. I just been kind of lazy about finishing them. Anyway, um, there were some pretty disturbing things in this docu-series um, that allegedly happened. Like the individual telling us that they were on the tour bus, with Aaliyah and R. Kelly, and she walked into a certain room, and he was having sex with Aaliyah. Now, my heart goes out to the family of Aaliyah. My heart goes out to Aaliyah, rest her soul. Who knows? Who knows what kind of sinister things Aaliyah and a lot of these people in the industry may be exposed to, some of them at an early age, possibly. Who knows how deep these things really go? Um, there was a whole lot of back and forth on social media. I think between Twitter and Instagram and a couple of places. I think Dame Dash was saying a few things. I don't think Jay-Z said anything. I think his name was thrown around a little bit. Um, it was kind of this narrative where, it was a who had her first kind of thing almost. It was kind of weird and pretty disgusting, actually. Almost saying that, Aaliyah was with R. Kelly, Aaliyah was with Dame Dash, Aaliyah was with Jay-Z, Aaliyah was with this person and that person, these people who are now prominent in the industry in one way or another. Um, it's pretty sick. Um, One thing I do know is that there was this compilation type of duet album, I guess, with Jay-Z and R. Kelly. I don't know how far back their relationship goes, um, but there is rumor out there that Jay-Z was also messing with Aaliyah at an early age, along with R. Kelly, who Jay-Z later on did a whole tour with, and an album and music videos. And this was after the whole scandal with the videotape coming out with him urinating on a underage girl. So when I connect those dots, I kind of almost feel like, yeah, it's possible that, all these people are involved in this whole big thing, this whole big ring of just perverted fucking motherfuckers who are just out to just get their rocks off and fucking fuck everything and anything that moves out here in Hollywood, in New York, in any place where movies, music, hip hop, any of these things are prevalent. There's the whole Black Hollywood movement in Atlanta now. You know, you hear stories about that whole thing. It's a little disturbing sometimes. Um, yeah. So I got left with the impression that Aaliyah, you know, first of all, had no business being in those situations in the first place if her parents were really, on top of her situation, which obviously they weren't. Um, and then I get the impression that it wasn't just Jay Z that was, violating this young girl in the industry. Um, it's just really sad to me. It's really, really sad to me. Um, between Jay Z and Dame Dash and R. Kelly, and then she died shortly after that. I think it was 2001 maybe that she died. I mean, she lived such a short life, and to meet her end, you know, after living a life where she was used and abused in the way that she was, it's just, it adds another layer of sadness to the whole thing, really. Um, the parents, the family failed to do their part. She was left at the hands of these people who didn't have her best interests in mind, obviously. Um, and yeah, like there's this whole ring. It's like there's this whole uh, band of sexual banditos out here, fucking grabbing them by the pussy and fucking just doing what thy will with other people's bodies and with other people's things that you shouldn't take advantage of. Um, but I mean, I think the shit's crazy with R. Kelly. Last I saw something on YouTube or somewhere saying that there was a warrant out for his arrest in Atlanta, and he was partying at some club where I guess they were trying to apprehend him, but they couldn't. This shit's gonna come to a head. Uh, it's just rumor and speculation, but I also hear that R. Kelly is only worth like $1 million, which to the broke ass world out here, that's a lot of money. But to a nigga who's been out here with all these platinum hits and number one singles, and I Believe I Can Fly, and all over the fucking place, and all this shit, $1 million ain't shit. Especially when you out here running a whole goddamn sex ring. Especially when you out here housing, dozens of women for this whole sex cult that you have going on. That shit's crazy. That shit's got to be expensive. Having one girlfriend is probably expensive. So having dozens of them. I mean, I guess you ain't taking all of them on dates, but let me not get funny about this shit because it's really not funny. I think now is the time that the feds want to close in on him. I mean, it's really easy sometimes for these celebrities to get away with murder because they can hire the best lawyers, they can tilt public perception because, if they still have a good enough image, they can tilt public perception any way they want to. They can hire tons of lawyers to defend them and, make sure that they get off scot-free for whatever the hell they're doing. I think now is going to be the time that we start seeing cases opening up against R. Kelly. If it is true that he's only worth $1 million, that means he's going broke. This whole sex ring that he's running, all these girls that he's supporting, so forth and so on. This man is going broke. Okay, he has to be. Because he damn sure ain't selling out arenas across the world anymore. He's not coming out with hit records anymore. He's not doing anything that would make it evident to us that he's bringing in a massive amount of income that would be able to support a whole sex ring that he's operating. Okay? If this were to happen, if this whole expose thing that's going on now were to have happened 10 years ago when he was still seeing success. Um, just like Michael Jackson, and we're going to talk about him later. Just like Michael Jackson, he would have been able to avoid persecution by throwing enough money at it that you can make a little bit of anything happen. You know what I mean? Hire those good lawyers, tilt the public perception, put out some more hit records at the time so people forget about the things that are really going on. This is how they do it. They can cover for whatever scandal that's out there by just providing the world with something to step to for the next couple of months. A great movie that you're in, or some other wild antics that'll take the heat off of what you're doing. But when you're going broke, however, you ain't got the money to be doing all that crazy ass shit anyway. When you're going broke, you ain't got the money to be doing all that crazy ass shit. So I think now is the time that the feds are really going to start looking into this whole sex trafficking, alleged sex ring, this cult that he's running, now that he's going broke and he won't be able to defend himself. Okay, perfect time. Now that he's going broke, allegedly, and won't be able to defend himself. I mean, it's long overdue. I mean, we've lived with this for like 15 years. This sex tape that came out for like 15 years. He got out. I mean, he got away scot-free on that because, the girl ended up saying that it wasn't her in the video. Her parents came forward, said it wasn't her. I mean, if the victim comes forward and say, oh, nothing happened, and then her parents come forward and say, oh, nothing happened, then, I mean, what more can you go on? What more can you prosecute? But hang on. Now, this show is called Blunt Talk for a reason. Now, personally, I prefer these minis. These Swisher minis. This is the Diamond, I think. Yeah, the Diamond. Unsweetened. I like these minis for a couple of reasons. I think they roll better somehow. There's 3 in a pack, so I can roll more blunts. Even though they're less weed per blunt, I can roll more blunts. Because I usually end up leaving a little bit anyway as a roach. So it's not like I need the whole damn long-ass stick. And they're minis, so I don't have to roll up as much weed, okay? A nigga's on a budget, okay? I ain't just got money out here to just be rolling back-to-back fucking jumbo blunts and shit, okay? So these minis are like perfect size to roll a decent amount of weed, get your puff on, and yeah, I like them. So I actually have one prepared, okay, through the magic of television, Shazam. Okay, one just appeared in my hand. I don't exactly remember what strain this is. This always happens. I want to remember so I can tell people what we're smoking, but I never remember what strain it is that I have. I know the one I had before this was Blue Dream. I always remember the Blue Dream. That's like probably my favorite because I'm a basic like that. But yeah, Blunt Talk with FrndZone, which will be Blunt Talk with YugoFlii FrndZone here in a minute. That is good stuff. Out here in Colorado with this good weed. Shit. We got this good weed. I got this good drink. Okay, and we just gonna keep it moving right along. Um, so with the documentary, Surviving R. Kelly, um, I thought it was weird that John Legend was in it. I just don't see how it's relevant. I mean, his opinion. Now, I understand they wanted to include the opinion of someone who is maybe one of his industry peers. Someone who is also an R&B superstar and would add a certain extra amount of shine to the topic and to the show itself, which would maybe bring in more viewership. I don't know, but I just didn't think it was relevant. I don't think anything that motherfucking John Legend has to say about anything is relevant. He's a great singer. He's a great artist. That's great. Um, with both him and his wife, I don't want to hear y'all talk. I don't want to hear y'all say a damn thing. I don't want to hear Christy Teigen open her mouth and say anything about anything. Okay? I don't want to hear motherfucking John Legend talk about anything. Ever. Okay? I don't ever want to fucking hear John Legend talk about shit. Okay? I'm sorry, that's just what it is. Sorry, not sorry. And then they had Charlemagne. Now, I kind of feel like Charlemagne has a history of being a little disrespectful to the black community and particularly black women. I do feel like Charlemagne has a bad history, a bad reputation when it comes to that kind of thing. And I definitely remember some episodes of The Breakfast Club where he was talking about how he used to prey on women himself using Spanish fly, talking about how he was also abused as a child, just like R. Kelly was. He was also taken advantage of, just like R. Kelly. There's this whole case pending against him with this young lady that's accused him of rape. He's kind of in the same shoes as R. Kelly in a way, just not nearly as extreme. I mean, with R. Kelly, there's already video evidence. He's been doing this for a while. We've seen these whole sex trafficking rings that he's a part of, allegedly. With him, there's no doubt. With Charlemagne, there's still a cloud over him. I just don't think it was right to have him in the documentary. I understand they wanted to have certain people like John Legend, like Charlemagne in the show because it adds, a certain level of celebrity flair. People always want to hear what the celebrities have to say about things, what Charlemagne has to say about things, and various other people who are popular in the industry, who are popular on radio, so forth and so on. So I get it, but I think it might have just taken away from some of the might have taken away from the mission of the show, by having this show that is exposing this monster, exposing this person who has taken advantage of so many people, who has hurt so many people, and then having someone come on to talk about it who is also accused of taking advantage of and hurting people and sexually assaulting people themselves. I definitely think it was a misstep to have Charlemagne on there. I've been a fan of Charlemagne for a very long time. Lately, I've been kind of stepping away from that a little bit. I just don't quite agree with some of the energy that he's put out there. But yeah, ultimately, yeah, I just don't think those two things really fit. There are certain things that kind of uh, take away from the show and the point of the show. And I think it's just a distraction, really. Um, Lady Gaga. Hang on, I gotta light this again. So, this is kind of going back to, um, this is kind of going back to The first thing that I talked about, me having to take responsibility for my part in the whole thing and participating in all of this and still listening to the music and still, supporting this whole machine that was contributing to hurting so many people. Once again, I apologize. Lady Gaga has also come out and apologized for making music with this guy. And this is after, the tape and everything, and it's already known that he has participated in certain things. She still chose to work with him. There was this song called Do What You Want, I think. And in the song, I think the hook goes, do what you want with my body, something, something. But anyway, it's kind of kind of an innuendo about, you know, letting someone have their way with you, I guess. And the song was featuring R. Kelly. Now, it's kind of weird because if you connect the dots, now it says do what you want with my body. And you're doing this song with R. Kelly. Now, what would R. Kelly want to do with your body if you're doing this song with R. Kelly? R. Kelly might want to pee on your body. Okay? R. Kelly might want to pee into your mouth. R. Kelly might want to sodomize you. Who knows? Who knows? So you're saying you're making this song. It's about sexual freedom. It's about, I guess, taking charge of the fear that you have and the anger that you have over, someone sexually abusing you, maybe, and saying, "Fuck it, you can have my heart. You can have you can't have my heart." Sorry, guys. You can't have my heart and you can't have my mind, but do what you want with my body. As if to say, you may be able to hurt me physically, but you can't hurt my spirit and my soul. So she's come out and apologized for making that song. It's kind of gross when you think about it. Like, you're saying, do what you want with my body. You can't hurt my mind, you can't hurt my heart, but you can do what you want with my body on a song with R. Kelly, someone who has been known to do some pretty weird things with people's bodies involving urine. So I just thought that was weird. But even weirder is the fact that I did like that song, though, when it came out. I wasn't really looking past the surface of it. It was just a good song. The beat was great. Of course, R. Kelly being the master that he is with melodies and making music. Of course, it came out to be a great song between two great artists, and I kind of just went with that. And of course, once again, that goes back to a lot of us having to step back and realize that we played our part in all of this, in helping this go on. But yeah, I think it's about time that we really started taking responsibility, and we started to, make amends for some of these things that we've done that have contributed to building this monster, even after knowing that this person was a monster. I think that's really important. Yeah. And I guess that's like a perfect segue into, some of his lyrics. Even with that song, the lyrics of that song are, highly suggestive. Being who he is and being on that song and having the lead on the song saying, do what you want with my body. You can't hurt my heart and you can't hurt my mind, but do what you want with my body. That's almost kind of a rape kind of thing. Like, you may be able to hurt my body, but you can't touch my mind, you can't touch my soul, you can't touch my spirit. It just gives a bad vibe in retrospect when you think about songs like that. And really, a lot of his songs, when you think back on them, give that kind of really weird vibe. We don't really have to go into the whole catalog and really get deep into, all of the different songs that have these little innuendos in them about, being with someone that's too young. From Bump and Grind, I don't see nothing wrong with a little Bump and Grind, but like, who would? Who would see anything wrong with some Bump and Grind if you grown? Who would see anything wrong with some Bump and Grind unless you're doing some illegal shit? No one would see anything wrong with that. And he's saying, I don't see nothing wrong with a little Bump and Grind. And I'm like, okay, we wasn't saying nothing was wrong. So what's wrong, R? What's wrong, R? What is wrong with the bumping and grinding that you're doing? Okay. Questions. Okay. What other songs? It's so disgusting now that now when you hear it, how does it go? My mind's telling me no, but my body telling me yes. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. Okay. What is your mind telling you no about? Okay, obviously your conscience, is saying, hey, no. It's saying, no, you shouldn't do that. What is it that you shouldn't be doing? That your body is in disagreement with and wants to do anyway. What is it that your mind is telling you you shouldn't be doing, but your body, your urges are urging you to do it, but you're not supposed to be doing that shit? What is it? Okay? With the Lady Gaga song, all the way through his catalog, all the way through his history, there's these songs that if you listen to now, with everything that's going on, you can, kind of get a look at the mind of a monster. Okay? The mind of a goddamn monster. Okay? Y'all should smoke with me if y'all are watching this. If you're watching this and you don't have a blunt or a bowl or however you prefer to smoke, you should pause this. Get your little blunt situation together. Get your little weed situation together and smoke with me. I mean, I ain't got much left, and it was just a mini anyway. But y'all should smoke with me. I'm going to try to do these every week. So, I guess since this is going to come out on a Friday, I guess I'll be doing these every Friday. So when you get paid on Friday, you tune in and you have some blunt talk with Tyree and Marshall. Damn it, if only I can keep the blunt lit. The hell's wrong with me? But anyway, yeah, that shit's crazy, like, how he snuck in so much weird shit into his lyrics. Oh yeah, I heard, now this is a theory that's out there. Now y'all know that song, You Are Not Alone by Michael Jackson, when he was on the video, like, looking like a alien white woman. He looked like a white woman with no titties. He looked like a white woman that had her titties removed. He looked like I can't even, I gotta stop. I can't even say what I was about to say, because I'm gonna get in trouble. Okay. But yeah, he looked crazy as hell in that video. Fuck the bullshit, dog. Fuck the bullshit. Great, legacy, great music, all that good shit. He looked crazier than three motherfuckers. I can't even say he looked crazier than a motherfucker, because that's just a singular motherfucker. He looked crazier than multiple motherfuckers in one being. That nigga looked like a white E.T. Anyway, I heard allegedly that song, You Are Not Alone, I Am Here With You, it was written But well, first of all, it's not alleged that it was written by R. Kelly. It was written by R. Kelly, but allegedly the inspiration for that song came from Aaliyah being pregnant. Aaliyah had gotten pregnant with R. Kelly's baby, and that song was actually about Aaliyah and his feelings towards her during that time. You are not alone. I am here with you. Though you're far away, you know I'm here to stay or always in my heart, something like that. Talk about the perversion in someone's lyrics. That's the song that so many of us loved from an artist that we all loved, but it had to be written by R. Kelly, so we had to sneak some fucking, sideways shit in there. He's been hiding this shit in plain sight, sneaking it right under our noses. And it's kind of sick that we didn't see all of this before. He called himself the damn Pied Piper. I mean, he called himself the damn Pied Piper. And at the time, when I had first heard that, I didn't know that the Pied Piper was this guy that fucking led children away to their fucking doom, basically. Okay, to do God knows what. Now, the story that I know now is the Pied Piper was a guy who played an instrument, played sweet melodies and whatnot, lured children away, and that's it. Now, lured children away to what? I still haven't, gotten any fill-in of the blanks on that, which I kind of don't want to. I kind of don't want to know where Pied Piper is leading these children off to, okay? But I didn't know, at a younger age that that's what the Pied Piper meant. I didn't know that, okay? I knew that the Pied Piper played a pipe, kind of like a flute or something like that, bagpipe, something like that. So I thought that that's how it was related, like a musical thing. I'm the Pied Piper, a music guy. But yeah, it's been hiding in plain sight the whole time. We just weren't educated enough. I know I wasn't at the time educated enough to know that that's what he was freaking talking about. It's crazy. It's really crazy. It's just hidden in plain sight. There's so much perversion in all of it. Speaking of Michael Jackson and that whole thing, so there's a new documentary coming out about Michael Jackson. This is kind of a segue into some other shit because this isn't about R. Kelly necessarily. It's kind of related because these are both two people who have had famous trials over some kind of sex related shit. Both of them were acquitted. Both of them, got off on their cases. But there is a new documentary coming out. But this documentary that's coming out features two people who, as children, claimed that Michael Jackson had molested them at the Neverland Ranch. Later on, however, I think during the trial, they recanted those stories and claimed that they had lied about the allegations that they made towards Michael Jackson. Okay? Now, these two people have been approached to make a documentary about that whole thing that happened with Michael Jackson. A little weird because they're choosing to talk to people who have already on record stated that they lied in the first place. Like they had already stated that, hey, we lied about that shit. We was not for real about that shit. Okay? We made that shit up. We made that shit up because our parents told us to or some shit and they wanted some money. Blunt went out again. But here's the thing. I'm like, I don't think it's beyond reason to think that it's possible that those people were coerced into recanting their stories. right? I mean, Michael Jackson at that time had enough power and enough money to where if he wanted to, he could probably make you say you was lying. Am I wrong? Would he? I don't know. Could he? Definitely. All it takes is money. All it takes is money and knowing the right people. To threaten, to coerce, to you know, really put the pressure on somebody to make them recant their story, or to make them, just come out and say, hey, I was lying. Sorry, guys. I wonder how much money it would take. And if they wouldn't take money, how many fingers they would have to break on their cousin's fucking, left hand before they said, okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to take back the story. I wonder how much protection these people were under when this trial was going about. Would people related to Michael's camp be able to have access to them? Is that possible? I think it's possible. So who knows? Yeah, it is a documentary that features two people who did recant their story, but I'm curious to see what they have to say now. I'm curious to see if they're going to claim that, they were coerced into doing such. That's going to be pretty interesting. It's all just kind of weird. Michael Jackson did come out and say that, yes, he does sleep in the bed with other little boys and so forth and so on. And, it is kind of borderline already. So it wouldn't be much to cross that line. So it might be more far-fetched to think that that line never was crossed. We might just be doing it all over again. The same thing we did with R. Kelly. We're pretty much excusing it because he's a genius, because he's brought so much light to our lives, because he's had such a great influence in our lives that we would never want to think in a million years that this person is even capable of doing such a thing. But he could be. He could be capable of that, especially given that some of the actions that we've seen from him are borderline on those things, like, having all these kids over and sleeping in the same room with them and so forth. He's already touching that borderline. So it's not like he's, this squeaky clean kind of person that isn't involved in those kind of controversies already. It'd be more far-fetched maybe if it was like that. But I don't see that being far from what he's already admitted to. It's just right down the street from it. He's just not going that far and telling us all that. But we'll see. I mean, the guy's already dead. He's already dead, It would really suck. I mean, not really. Because, if these things did happen and we gave him a not guilty verdict, it does need to come to the light. Because we can't keep doing these things. We can't keep letting these things happen. We can't keep letting these things slide. And that's all that's going to happen if we just once again say, oh, it's whatever. He's dead now. Sweep it under the rug. You know what? We really shouldn't. Because then, it's just another one that just came and went and we didn't really care. Yeah, that shit's crazy. This shit is crazy, my name. I don't know. This shit's crazy, man. Cause touching on that more with the whole R. Kelly thing, he was abused at an early age, which might have left an imprint in his mind that that's something that he could do to other people. As a matter of fact, I'm sure that contributed to, him becoming who he is and doing the things that he's doing. Definitely contributed. Um, Lil Wayne is another one who has said that, Birdman, when he was young, coming up under Birdman would have him have sex with older women, to pop his cherry, so to speak. That's disgusting. Uh, Having sex with older women, being forced to participate in these kind of acts to, I guess, I don't know, toughen him up, to man him up or something. I have no idea what the goal is of that shit. But yeah, um, that's another one who has not done so well as far as his relationships with women. And I think a lot of that does have to do with the way he came up, and the things that he experienced as a child with women, his first experiences with women, and what kind of women he had his first experiences with, and the fact that it wasn't genuine, it wasn't organic, it was kind of a forced kind of thing. That could cripple, your perception of love, your perception of, how to treat relationships. Those kind of things can really damage you over time. Um, he's just another one, really, who came up in that kind of lifestyle where he was sexually taken advantage of by an older person. And that includes Birdman, because Birdman was a part of that. It wasn't just, some woman just wanted to have sex with him. No, Birdman had that happen, so that's a part of that. It's very sick. It's a very twisted kind of thing. Twisted kind of. Oh, Drake. So I was avoiding watching this video that's floating around about Drake because I'm like, oh no, they're just trying to catch Drake on some bullshit. But once again, we have to get rid of that idea that because it's one of the favorite people that we like, because it's someone who's provided us with great content, great music, so forth and so on, we have to get away from thinking that, this person couldn't have done this or that because of that. We definitely have to start taking these things a lot more seriously. Um, so Drake was on stage and was groping some 17-year-old girl. She did say that she was 17 years old. He proceeded to continue to grope her and say that she was sexy and so forth and so on. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know if Hollywood's trying to train us to accept this kind of perversion, or accept, mingling with underage people. I don't know what it is. It's it's weird. I kind of played it off at the moment as he must be on something, because it just doesn't seem like something Drake would be caught up doing. You know what I mean? It seems like something like Drake would be smarter than that. It doesn't seem like something Drake would be doing. Um, but yeah, you got to check out the video for yourself. It is a little weird. This whole thing, has kind of, it's not a good spirit in the air with this whole R. Kelly thing that's going on. Um, it kind of ties in with this whole Me Too movement that's been out here. Sexual assault won't be tolerated anymore. These women are coming forward. They are expressing how they really feel. You know, they're just not having it anymore. And there won't be a single person that's spared that think that they can just get away with uh, abusing and harassing people that don't want anything to do with you. Yeah, it's a new day and age after this whole Me Too movement. This whole surviving R. Kelly thing is just a whole new layer to all of that. I don't know where this whole thing is going. I don't know if it's going somewhere good or going somewhere bad or somewhere worse. We're going to see where it goes. I'm glad that I got to get on here, though, and speak my piece. I am getting a little bit tipsy. I think this is like almost gone actually. So yeah, this is the first episode of Blunt Talk with FrndZone, soon to be Blunt Talk with YugoFlii FrndZone. So yeah, make sure you definitely subscribe to my channel. I'm going to try to upload videos at least once per week starting out. Hopefully I can expand on that. I'll be talking about everything from, current topics in pop culture, hip hop and R&B, a little bit of everything. Maybe some personal shit in my life, we'll see. But yeah, that's going to be a wrap. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you share the video if you can, and I'm out.